Alright guys, welcome to episode 11 of Brackish Coast Outdoors. Today I've got me a different co-host with me today. This is my son Gibson. He's 5 years old. He's going to tell you a little bit about fishing. And we're going to talk about the number one secret to catching more flounder more consistently. And I promise you it will help your flounder game. It made me go from one flounder, two flounder a month to consistently catching 5 to 10 flounder every time that I was targeting them. So we're going to talk about that, but first, this episode is brought to you by Cleanse Oil. If you haven't heard of Cleanse Oil or tried it out, you need to. I'm telling you, this is what I use to keep all my reels good and in working condition after I've been in the salt water. And I tell you what, anybody that comments that wants a sample bottle of Cleanse Oil, let me know. I'll get you one. We can connect on email and you get me your address and I'll send you a bottle of Cleanse Oil. Alright, so this is Gibson. He's going to tell you about redfish before we jump right into the flounder. So tell us a little bit about redfish.
Well, on their tails, they have dots, little black dots.
Yeah.
Their teeth are, well, they're hard to catch.
They're hard to catch. Yeah. They fight hard too, don't they? Mm-hmm. You like catching them? Yeah, me too. I like seeing you catch them. Mm-hmm. So, we got a picture of Gibson catching a speckled trout right here. That was a fun speckled trout, wasn't it? Yeah. That's his best speckled trout. Probably an 18-incher, maybe a 20-incher. Big speckled trout. So, yeah. Alright, well let's jump right into how to catch flounder more consistently and the number one secret you need to know to catch them. First I'm going to tell you about my rig. I use a spinning rod. I use a spinning rod with 20-pound braid and then a fluorocarbon leader, a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. At the very end I tie an eye strike jig head, 1/8 ounce, on a loop knot. And I'm not sure if my camera's going to focus, but it's a good idea anyway. So, yeah, that's what that is. And about 18 inches up, sorry guys, about 18 inches up I tie a dropper loop and put another 1/8 ounce eye strike jig head. And that doubles your chances. And then the lure of choice, Berkeley Gulp. Alive swimming mullet and chartreuse. Hands down one of my favorite lures for flounder. Not saying that's the only one I use, but that's the most consistent one I use. You can use regular plastic. Chicken Boy are really good for flounder. Chicken Boy lures. This is one here, specifically designed by Joe Mohan for flounder, and that's another flounder fisherman that you need to check out. The dude is just unreal at catching flounder. Anyway, so that's what I use. Scent is really important. If you use a regular plastic, make sure you put some Procure on it. The Berkeley Gulp, I use the chartreuse color. Sometimes I'll put pink on, one pink, one chartreuse on the double rig, and that's always how I fish for flounder, is a double rig. Let's jump into the anatomy of flounder, and then we're gonna move on to where you need to target, what areas you need to target for flounder. First, they start as a minnow. You know, they just a regular fish, eyes on each side of their head, swimming around, and then as they morph, both eyes move over to one side, and they turn into a flatfish. What's that mean? Well, they're gonna lay on the bottom. They're gonna ambush prey. They've got this nice camouflage top of their body, solid white on the bottom side, and these huge mouths that expand, and they have teeth in them, a bunch of teeth, and they're the ultimate ambush predator. There's no other way around it. There's no other animal out there anywhere that's a better ambush predator than a flounder. They lay perfectly still, perfectly camouflaged, and when something comes over the top of them, boom. That mouth is incredible. Huge mouth. Big mouth. They could swallow something very big. But anyway, they will lay anywhere. They relate to structure. They relate to contour changes. They relate to grass, creek mouths, oyster bottom. Anywhere that flounder can lay and get a vantage point is where they're going to be. There a lot of times flounder fishing is like bass fishing. Target structure, target contours, target humps in the water. Target these things where water's flowing out of grass, and anywhere you can see water flowing, there's a possibility that there could be flounder there if there's structure. One of my favorite spots, and I know you're not supposed to get caught up in spots, but this this particular spot has literally never let me down. But it's just the perfect setup for a flounder. It's this big bend in a bayou. It's like, just picture my arm, this big bend, and the bayou keeps on going around. But this part makes a huge flat, and this flat is wet. Depending on the tide, it's 2 to 3 feet deep most of the time. And right here on the edge of that flat is a big old pole. It's like an 8 to 10 inch just big pole. Not even sure what it's there for. Maybe it's just a marker to let people know that that's not the channel. Not even sure what it's there for. That pole is right there, and right on the outside of that pole is this contour change. It doesn't change much. It changes about a foot. Ooh, I needed that. I don't even know how long it's been here. Okay. So the contour change, it changes about a foot, and those flounder lay around that pole, around that contour change, and around the grass, depending on what the tide is doing. Also, another awesome factor in that little spot is there's oysters all in it. Now, I'm telling you, that's like the ultimate place for flounder. I can go there usually and catch 3 to 4 at least out of that spot, sometimes more, every single time I go. And that's what you got to look for. You got to look for somewhere that's got the contours, the depth changes, it's got oysters, structure, like the pole is a structure, the grass, because the tidal movements will pull water out of those grass and pull bait out of that grass into where the flounder are going to be ambushing. And just that tidal flow into that flat, it's a great place to go and consistently catch flounder. So be looking for areas like that. Creek mouths are another one, where tide is coming out of a creek, especially if you can find one with oyster bar or a point. Those are good ambush points for flounder, and they're going to be there. Target the structure. Now let's move on to the very last thing, the secret to catching more flounder more consistently. I told you what lures to use. Told you make sure you're using scent. I gave you my perfect rig for flounder, double rig. Told you where to be looking for areas. Get on Google Maps and find areas like that. The most important thing about flounder is make sure you're fishing on bottom. I know, it's crazy, it's like mind-blowing. It doesn't make sense. But I'm telling you, if you're not consciously fishing on the bottom, you will not catch flounder. It hit me one night. I'd been like really wanting to catch flounder, and I was just not catching them. And then one night I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? I'm in these great areas for flounder. I know other people will catch flounder there. Why am I not doing it? And it hit me. I was like, I'm not even fishing on bottom. Flounder laying on the bottom. I'm not fishing there. So went out next day, started fishing on bottom. Bam, started catching flounder. Another thing, when you feel that thump when you're pulling on bottom, reel down and set the hook like a maniac. I promise you, you'll catch more flounder if you set the hook really hard and fish on bottom. Make sure you're feeling oyster ticks, make sure you're feeling the mud, whatever it takes, make sure you're fishing bottom, and you will catch more flounder consistently. Well, I've been Jeff. Good vibes, tight lines, God bless.